Let's talk about some awesome knitting patterns that were released this past August. Hello everyone, Rochelle here, and I'm back to share some yarn goodness with y'all today. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about 3 different things. We're going to be talking about new and free size inclusive garments. We're going to talk about accessory patterns, and we're going to talk about patterns for the home. So as I mentioned, all of these patterns are free, and they are either available as a free download or it's available on the designer's blog for free. So whichever one you like to do, it is available. And as always, I will leave a link to everything that I talk about today in the description box below. Okay, so let's start with garments. All right, y'all. So the first one we have is the Whisper Top, and it is designed by oh dear, see, I'm already messing up. Alfifa for Universal Yarns. So this calls for Aran weight yarn, and the bust circumference ranges between 32.25 to 63.25 inches. And in centimeters, that's 82 to 161. So this one calls for 2 knitting needle sizes, and it's going to be a US 8, which is a 5 millimeter, and a US 7, which is a 4.5. So you will need to know quite a few skills to make this pattern. You'll need to know how to chain, knit, make one, purl, slip, S2KP2, and that stands for slip 2 stitches as if to knit 2 together. Knit 1, pass 2 slip stitches over your knit stitch. Okay, that sounds like a lot. That sounds like a complicated stitch, and you know what? It's probably not even that hard, but it just sounds complicated. Yeah, so basically those are center double decreases. That's very interesting. Okay, so it is knit bottom up in the round, and basically you start with a crochet provisional cast on, so you will need to know how to do that as well. And as always, if there are any skills or techniques that you're not familiar with, there's a ton of tutorials on YouTube. Just go check it out. And I love the details on the neckline, the sleeve cuffs, and the bottom hem. I think it is so frilly, like it's very like girly, and I don't know, it almost has like a wavy design almost. I really like it, and so yeah, definitely check this pattern out. Okay, our next pattern is the Carraig Vest, designed by Beta Jezik for Hedgehog Fibers. This one calls for Aran weight yarn, and the bust circumference in inches ranges between 31 to 62. And in centimeters, that is 78 to 158. So you will also need 2 knitting needle sizes for this pattern. You'll need a US 8, which is a 5 millimeter, and you will need a US 7, which is a 4.5 millimeter. So in order to make this vest, you will need to know some skills. You will need to know how to knit, purl, knit front, back. Now, you know what? I'm starting to mix crochet terms with knitting terms, because I was about to say front post, but no, that's crochet, that's not knitting. My brain. Anyway, so knit front, back, slip 1 with yarn in front, slip 1 with yarn in the back, make 1 right, make 1 left. And basically this is knit top down, which is great. And I love that front ribbing detail. So that's really nice. I think this is a beautiful vest. Okay, so up next we have the Sarray Sweater. It is designed by Tamila Knits. And this calls for DK weight yarn. And y'all, this is amazing. This sweater comes in 20 sizes. 20 sizes. That's incredible. So the bust circumference ranges between 33.5 to 70.5 inches, and that's 86.5 to 179 centimeters. So you will need about 3 knitting needle sizes for this one. You'll need a US 6, which is a 4 millimeter, a US 2.5, which is a 3mm, and a US 1.5, which is a 2.5 millimeter knitting needle. And so in order to make this sweater, you'll need to know how to knit, purl, make one right, make one left, purl 2 together, long tail cast on, knit cast on, and tubular bind off. So there's definitely some skills to know there. And it is knit top down, and it features a crew neck design, and then it has set-in sleeves. And so as someone with broader shoulders, I really do appreciate a nice set-in sleeve. So that's really nice. Okay, so up next we have the Everywear Sweater, designed by Bree Milosic of Blue Sheep Knitwear. And so this one calls for Aran weight yarn. It is knit top down with a drop shoulder construction. And I'm not sure if I mentioned it or not, but the skills you'll need to know include knit purl, make one left, make one right, make one purl, make one right purl, make one left purl, purl 2 together, knit 2 together, and slip, slip, knit. Crazy, right? That's a lot of stitches, but you know what? Knitting is just knit and purl. If you can knit and purl, you got it, no problem. Let's move on to accessories. All right, the first one we have is the Frilly Garter Shawl, designed by Brian Smith, and this calls for fingering weight yarn. And so the wingspan of the shawl is 58 inches or 148 centimeters. The width at the widest point is 51 inches, and that's 130 centimeters. So the knitting needle size that it calls for is a US 5, which is a 3.75 millimeter. And so for this shawl, you don't really need to know a whole lot of skills. You just need to know how to knit, purl, yarn over, knit front and back, and knit front, back front. So if you know those skills, you can definitely make this. Of course, there's always a tutorial for it. And this shawl is knit top down, and it is worked flat in garter stitch. And so this is fantastic. It has a triangle shape, and it's knit in one piece. And so because it is garter stitch, I think this would be really great for beginners, or perhaps those who are more advanced and you just kind of want a nice simple project. I really think this would be great. And even like the frilly parts, I don't think that's difficult either, you know. So I think it'd be a great project to try out. Okay, so up next we have the basket bag, designed by Hiromi Glover for Pearl Soho. So this one calls for DK weight yarn. And this project comes in 2 sizes. You've got your small size, you've got your large size. And so here are the dimensions of the bag for each size. Okay, so for your small size, the finished circumference is 24 inches or 61 centimeters. And for your large size, the circumference is 32.75 inches or 83 centimeters. So just depending on what size bag you want, you can use those measurements and kind of see what you prefer. Okay, so this basket bag, it does call for 2 knitting needles, and you'll need a US 6 US 6 4.0, and you will need a US 5 3.75 millimeter. What I was thinking was, even though these patterns call for certain knitting needle sizes, your tension, your gauge, it's always going to be different. You know, it might be different from the designer. It might be different from someone else who has made it. So based on your own individual tension and your gauge swatch, you might need different knitting needle sizes than what I discussed today. But I'm just going by what the designer recommends. Okay, so, all right, y'all, this basket has a lot of skills in it. You will need to know how to knit, purl, long tail cast on, yarn over through the back loop only, an attached I-cord, slip stitches, provisional cast on for attaching the I-cord, the Kitchener stitch to graft the ends of the attached I-cord, and the whip stitch. So there's quite a few there, but please don't be intimidated by it. These are very simple stitches. They may just sound a little challenging. And so it is knit in the round, and it features I-cord handles. And so I love when a bag has I-cord handles because it makes it really sturdy and it's not gonna stretch. So I really like that. Up next, we have the Maribel Topper, designed by Petra Breakstone. And for this one, it calls for a DK weight yarn, or you can hold a fingering and a sport together to get that DK weight yarn weight. So the sizes, let's see, so there's one size, it's 11 inches in height, which is 28 centimeters, and it's 97 inches around the bottom edge. And in centimeters, that is 246 centimeters. So it's pretty wide. I really like that. And you will need 2 needle sizes. You will need a US 3, which is a 3.25, and a US 8, which is a 5 millimeter. So for this one, it's simple. You only need to know how to loop cast on, knit, yarn over, and knit 2 together. And so if you're unfamiliar with the loop cast on, I like to call it the backwards loop cast on, or either the thumb cast on, because basically you're kind of like manipulating the yarn with your thumb around the knitting needle to do the cast on. And it's a very simple cast on. A lot of times you'll see this cast on used when picking up stitches under the arm. Sometimes just to kind of bridge those stitches together, the designer might have you do a backwards loop cast on. And so it's a really good one. And I was thinking also, because someone had asked me this in a previous video, like, you know, they're talking about different cast-ons and what's great for beginners and things like that. And the loop cast-on, or the backwards loop cast-on, is definitely one that I would recommend. Let's talk about patterns for the home. All right, y'all. Up first, we have the Fall Festival Mini Pumpkins, designed by Nancy Erkfall for Blue Sky Fibers. And so this one calls for worsted weight yarn. And the size, it's 6 inches or 15 centimeters after stuffing. So that's going to be how wide it is. After you stuff it, it's going to be 6 inches wide, or either 15 centimeters. And in terms of the height, it's about 1 inches or 2.5 centimeters. And so you only need to have one knitting needle for this one, and that is a US 6 or a 4 millimeter. And for this project, you only need to know how to knit and purl for this project. And I think that is super awesome. A lot of people are, making gifts or wanting to make small projects for festivals or whatever it may be. And so having a project that only calls for knit and purl is amazing. And so it is knit in the round, and this pumpkin has a little cinnamon stick in it. So I feel like that's so cool. You know, it's like you can have a little pumpkin decoration, but at the same time it makes your house smell good. And so I really like the smell of cinnamon, and using a little cinnamon stick as the stem, that's so cool. And also you have options. You can either knit the fabric of the pumpkin. You can either do a 2x2 rib option, or you can do a broken rib option. So that's really nice. Or you can make both and basically use the same pattern to make 2 very different looking pumpkins. So I really like that. Up next, we have the Riley Baby Blanket, and it is designed by Snufflebean Yarn. I really like that name, Snufflebean. That's so cute. So you will need a DK weight yarn for this one. And the completed blanket is approximately 24 by 31.5 inches. But in centimeters, that is 60 by 80. But the pattern also does include instructions on how to increase or decrease the size of the blanket. So that's really nice, really helpful. And you will need a US 6 or a 4 millimeter knitting needle for this. And in order to make this, you just have to know a few simple skills: a knit, purl, and you're going to slip one purlwise with the yarn in the front. So that's a little different. And also it has a very, very simple 12-row repeat. And so the pattern is great for beginners who are trying to improve their skills. And it's great for, if you're an experienced knitter and you just need a quick project. Sometimes you want to break from long projects, and so you're looking for a quick project, and this is it. Up next, we have the Good Karma grid pattern or blanket, designed by the Premier Yarns design team. And so this one calls for bulky weight yarn, and the finished measurements are widthwise is 33 inches or 84 centimeters, and lengthwise 44 inches or 112 centimeters. And so this one calls for a US 10.5 or a 6.5 millimeter knitting needle. And you only need to know how to knit two together, and slip, slip, knit. So basically it's just a series of knit stitches and decreases. So that's so cool. And it is work flat, and it features these mitered squares. And so the mitered squares are knit separately, and then they are seamed together using the mattress stitch. So that's something that's really cool. Definitely let me know, what are some knitting patterns that you found in August? I know it's September, like 1st or 2nd. Yeah, we're brand new in September, but let me know if there's any patterns you found in August that you really liked, or that you actually went ahead and made. Definitely share with the class. Let us know about anything that you have found. And yeah, let me know if you would want to make any of these projects that we talked about today. And also, I knit and I crochet, of course. And so I have also made a crochet roundup video, and it is on my channel. And here's a preview. If you are looking for a pattern that's going to test your crochet skills, y'all, this is it. An E-hook is a very, very tiny crochet hook, but I'll just have to take some ibuprofen or something and just get to work, because I know my little hands are going to be hurting with a size 3.25 millimeter crochet hook. You only need to know how to do 2 techniques for this bag: single crochet, half double crochet. If you can do those 2 techniques, you can definitely make this bag. Let me know what you worked on while watching, or did you just chill? I would love to know. I really do enjoy reading you all's comments, so definitely drop a comment below. And also feel free to click that like button and that notification bell. Also, I have noticed that my Instagram followers is increasing. I have been asking you all to help me with that, because I'm trying to reach 5,000 followers on Instagram by the end of the year. And so you all have really been helping me out with that, and I really, really do appreciate it. And also check out my shop at QueensYarnBoutique.com. I've got hand-dyed yarn there, notions, and other ready-made items in there. So thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And until next time, bye.